Well, it's 5:30, January 8th, 2024. If we could get the organizational meeting of the Amherst Board of Education to order. Please stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I guess, Madam Treasurer, we need to swear
Two new board members in.
Rex and I.
And Mr. Zappa, if you could please stand. You'll hear this like 4 times, board members, you'll hear the same oath 4 times. Know that I will phrase it in a question, so at the end you answer, I do, I swear, I affirm, whatever. Mr. Mark Zappa, do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as member of the Board of Education in and for the said Amherst Exempted Village School District, Lorain County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is chosen and qualified?
I will.
I'll have you sign this later. Mr. Rex Engel, would you stand, please? Mr. Rex Engel, do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as member of the Board of Education in and for the said Amherst Exempted Village School District, Lorain County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is chosen and qualified?
I will.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Zappa.
Roll call.
Mr. Engel?
Present.
Mrs. Gillis?
Present.
Dr. Messer?
Present.
Mrs. Wacholtz?
Present.
Mr. Zappa?
Here. Okay, I will open up nominations for president.
I nominate Mark Zappa.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, do we vote now?
Yes. Now, when I poll each of you, you'll need to respond with a name. Mr. Engel?
Mark Zappa.
Mrs. Gillis?
Mark Zappa.
Dr. Messer?
Mark Zappa.
Mrs. Wacholtz?
Mark Zappa.
Mr. Zappa?
Okay. Motion passes.
And I will administer the oath of office to you, Mr. Zappa. Would you please stand? Mr. Zappa, do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as board president in and for the said Amherst Exempted Village School District, Lorain County, Ohio, to the best of your ability, and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is chosen and qualified?
I will.
Mr. President, you may carry on with the board meeting.
I will open up the take nomination for vice president.
I nominate Teresa Gillis.
I nominate Amanda Messer.
Any other nominations? Here, seeing none. Roll.
All right, again, I need a name. Mr. Engel,
Teresa Gillis.
Mrs. Gillis,
Teresa Gillis.
Dr. Messer,
Amanda Messer.
Mrs. Wacholtz,
Amanda Messer.
and Mr. Zappa.
Teresa Gillis.
Okay. Mrs. Gillis, will you please stand? Again, this is phrased as a question. Mrs. Teresa Gillis, do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge your duties as Board Vice President in and for the said Amherst Exempted Village School District, Lorain County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is chosen and qualified. Okay.
Okay. Number 6 is the set dates and times of our meetings. On the back page, worksheet there. If anyone wants to look at them, are there any questions or conflicts? Amanda? You're fine with it?
I have one question real quick. That's for Mr. Engel. The JVS representative is for 3 years, correct?
Yes,
Okay. So we need to adjust that one date, correct?
yes, to 2024.
What is that?
The 3-year term listed there is a mistake. It says 1/1/2002 to 12/31/2005. 25? That's really 4 years. So it should be 24. So if you just correct it now, I can correct it tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, because that term started last year,
Yes.
or the year before, whatever, yeah.
Yes.
That term doesn't change. It doesn't match to this term.
We just saw that on editing this afternoon.
That's all? Okay, then we can move on to number 7.
So we don't vote on that at all?
Later.
Okay.
Number 7, recognition of appoint a board member as a delegate and an alternate for Ohio School Boards Association Annual Meeting Capital Conference to be held 2024. Any nominations?
Or delegate.
Yeah,
I'll
nominate
Amanda? Do you have an alternate,
Be
Morgan.
Morgan?
Very good.
Okay, moving on to number 8.
Yeah,
I'll
Morgan.
What's that?
It's gonna be Morgan. I'm recommending Morgan.
For number 8?
Yes. And then do you
For the
want,
student.
yeah, student part, and do you want to do that? Yeah, and then I'm
And you're gonna
Amanda
do
for the legislative.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary, call the roll, please.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mrs. Gillis?
Aye.
Dr. Messer?
Aye.
Mrs. Wackel? Mr. Zappa?
Aye. Okay, number 9. I'm not going to read all these, but I think everyone's had a chance to look them over. Are there any questions as pertains to number 9?
No, I just made one grammatical error, change. I called Janet, and it's B. The end of that sentence should be B. The end of that sentence should be of no more than $20,000. It says that. So she said she fixed it on her end, but she'd already made all the copies. So.
Ah,
Mr. President, are you taking a motion for all of 9A through DD?
D,
Or are
my
we doing them
understanding.
individually?
No, my understanding is we're going to take them all.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion.
Have a motion?
And I'll second that motion.
Any comments or questions?
I would just ask on A. I know that we've had some discussion about attorney in the last year. And there's a litany of them on here by design, and I understand that. But I think that with the response that we have seen from our main attorney, okay, that we ask the superintendent to look at alternatives for possibly becoming our main legal counsel. Okay. So I don't know how you would like to do that, Michael, but I think that I know that I reached out to John back in December before the last board meeting when we were, as I told you in the executive session, and I still to this day have not heard back about getting the contract completed for Amy. Amy has reached out to him at least twice, and she has not heard back from him. So I do have concerns. I mean, it's a great law firm, I'm not saying that. And I don't care if we stay with them, but I think then the contact for that needs to be someone out of the Cleveland office, not someone out of North Carolina, South Carolina, Timbuktu, where he is. You know what I mean? Because he moves around a lot, traveling right now. I've also heard the rumor that he may retire, not from anybody locally, but that's on his schedule. Maybe you've heard that as well. That's on his horizon. So I think that instead of wondering if John's going to respond to us if we choose to stay with Britain, we need to know that we're going to reach out to whoever.
Yes.
Whoever the new attorney might be from that legal board.
Would we just bring that back at another time?
Right, and that's what I think that Michael may have, I know, because we know that Sarah uses other people that's on this list for her things. We know that Amy uses certain attorneys for her things. I just think that knowing that Mike has inherited John Britton, okay, he hasn't really probably worked with a litany of other legal firms for the general counsel of the entire district. So therefore, he may want to interview them one-on-one, get to know them a little bit, and then maybe he would like to show us 3 or 4 that he likes so that we kind of know, because we had used other people prior to Britain. Some of you only know Britain, okay? In fact, all of you only know Britain.
Yep.
When I joined the board, Britain was not the main legal person. So I'm sure that Sarah has some, I'm sure that Amy has some, I'm sure Mike has some that would be general counsel for the entire district that we might want to look at. We don't have to look at it, but I know Mike, we were frustrated a couple of times with John this year, and Amy's been frustrated with him. Like I say, he did not respond back to me over something simple. My question was not hard. Can you please complete this contract? Which should have been a
So basically,
push of a button or an admin person do it and he review it.
I mean, not
yeah.
to sound crazy, but I'm sure he got the message. I mean, he's usually better than that, but I'm just asking.
Well, I can't think that he didn't get the message. I mean, I didn't call him. And Amy, he finally did respond to something else from Amy.
Yeah.
And Amy responded, reached out twice about that, because I had said, Amy has contacted you about formulating her contract. If you have any further questions from what she has talked to you about, feel free to give me a call, and I'll be glad to clarify or answer any of those questions. He hasn't reached out to either one of us about that. So that's just something I think. So,
I was going to say, is there anyone who's already on this list that Michael has spoken to?
So this list is compiled from talking to other superintendents and districts of who might select candidates to work for our district. So I'm setting up meetings with each of these places and talk to the various people that are available, also like what services they provide. Might be available for Sarah and Amy and myself on the board. And then my thought was, because they are all approved, my thought was possibly narrowing it down, possibly even just, which we're allowed, giving them some assignments over the course of the next couple months if things come up, and see how we actually work with them on real cases and issues when things come up, before we kind of just maybe do narrow it down.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a rush to make any
well, I don't think there's a rush,
decisions.
but I think that we should,
Yeah.
because we never know when there might be
Correct.
an urgency of something.
Correct.
So we might want to know, gee, let's call Scott.
Correct.
I don't even know who Scott is, but I saw when I looked down there, I name I saw Scott. Okay, let's call Scott to handle that for
I
us.
have a meeting on Wednesday already. So.
Okay.
Oh, okay, you're ahead of that. Great. That was my only thought process there. And I will say that John Bruton has done this very well. I mean, he has not provided the services to us. I just think that since he has relocated,
I think he's going to.
I think it's
Yeah.
just harder for him, and I'm sure that he has other legal people at him all the time, that he's answering their questions, helping them to resolve problems, versus being the actual one solving those problems. He's advising his legal teams in those offices sometimes, because he is one of the senior partners in that.
Get busy.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Yes. Mrs. Gillis? Aye. Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Dr. Messer?
Aye.
Mrs. Wackel?
Aye.
Mr. Zappa?
Aye. Number 10, adjourn. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mrs. Gillis?
Aye.
Dr. Messer?
Aye.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mrs. Wackel?
Aye.
Mr. Zappa?
Aye.